Can we start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we started. Aloha, y'all. I know it's been a while. Look how lovely bird here. Lisbon, right?
Yes.
Lisbon. This came from Lisbon.
No. Porto.
Porto. It came from Porto. We had a lovely vacation. France, Spain.
I kept thinking, what do we need a vacation from? We're retired.
We had a nice adventure. We spent about a month away. Never really found the time to do anything sipping with, anything over there.
Anything, right.
But we did a grand tour of sorts that kind of focused in on the Basque area, mostly in Spain, but we did a little bit in the France area. Stayed in the ancient medieval town of Carcassonne. Hotel actually inside the castle walls.
One of two. Only two hotels within the walls. There's 17 bazillion hotels in the Bastide and the area between La Cité and the river and the canal across the river.
Yeah.
But tremendous.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Best cassoulet ever.
Oh my God, yes. Had cassoulet there twice. The first time was really good. The second one was amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Had like 4 different cassoulets. But anyway.
And then Bayonne was lovely. That was French Basque.
French Basque country. We were actually...
The whole thing was to sort of go to, except for Carcassonne, towns that were on the Camino.
Camino de Compostela. Camino de Santiago de Compostela, yeah. We were actually in Basque Spain when the entire Iberian Peninsula lost power.
Yeah, we were in Guernica.
We had been in Guernica.
We were at that little village.
Yeah, whatever.
And we didn't even know.
But yeah, we didn't.
So if you're in a little village with 70 people and they're cooking you lunch outside in their outdoor kitchen anyway.
Yeah, we may learn how to make tallow.
Yeah, I don't even know. We need to make tallow here. Yeah. It's yummy.
Anyway.
It's not tallow like tallow candle wax. It's a corn flour... Thick tortilla, basically.
Almost like corn pone, but yeah, it's really, really good. What I expect to enjoy tonight is this Barton Distillery 1792 bottle and bond whiskey, which was a single barrel, hand-selected by a couple of good folks at the Turnpike Wine and Spirits store in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It's been a little bit. It's a great place to go because they have a wide range of selections and they do have a handful of dusty bottles in case you're looking for some of those special whiskeys. But I got this because they did a hand select on this. With the propaganda here on the back of the bottle, in 1897, the Bottled and Bond Act revolutionized the quality of American whiskey. Bourbon labeled Bottled and Bond guaranteed drinkers high-quality whiskey made by a legitimate distiller. Well, down south, that's kind of important. Or it's a distinguishing thing.
As opposed to a bastard distiller?
As opposed to
moonshiner.
Moonshiner.
Yeah, I know.
Carrying on that tradition, this well-aged bourbon from barrels all filled during the same season was bottled at exactly 100 proof for a bold taste and lingering finish. A testament to the Bottled and Bond Act established over a century ago.
Yeah, well, we just came back from a century hold my beer.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah,
you whippersnapper.
Ooh, I love that sound. Since it's a barrel select, the reviews that we're able to find aren't going to be about this particular bottle, but they're going to be about the 1792 bottle.
Wee, that's cute.
The Royal Wee here. Yes, okay.
Royal Wee, look at yourself.
Okay. Please share with us a little bit about this whiskey.
Well, you read all the salient bits, so... Straight bourbon from Sazerac Company. I didn't know Barton. I don't care because it's bourbon.
Yeah.
One batch will be released each fall beginning 2017. So this is obviously an older web page. Yep. No age statement. Mash bill is undisclosed. Marketed as high rye and believed to be 15 to 25% rye. Okay. So one can presume the rest of it is corn.
And maybe wheat. Maybe malted barley.
Colored dark honey. Let's see if anybody else has anything on tasting notes.
Ooh,
nothing on
rye crisp.
mash bill. The 1792 Bourbon page itself says, true to its heritage, the unmistakable spice of 1792 bourbon is met with notes of charred oak and fresh mint.
Yeah, and maybe it's just a touch of cinnamon.
Subtle caramel apple tones are delicately balanced with a lingering essence of coffee and black pepper. Okay, well, yay for them.
Okay, the 100 proof, the alcohol is coming through on the nose.
I bet it is.
But they do have a foolproof version, which is,
Foolproof or
yeah.
foolproof?
Yes.
Appearance is a rich wildflower honey. It thinly coats and clings to the glass. Speaking of honey, we had a delightful time with a Spanish beekeeper.
Yes, in this quaint little village, and he's a instructor
It's like
of
Santa
sorts.
Maria Samosa or something.
Yeah, he's an advocate for teaching people about bees and their
importance of
importance.
bees.
And
Yeah, Santa Colomba de Samosa.
that was very
It's a
entertaining.
lovely little
Very.
village. Tiny, very, very tiny. And then we had lunch at a wonderful little agroturismo place that has a few bedrooms,
Oh yeah,
called Casa.
I don't know, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Very fresh nose on here. They mentioned caramel apple. I was thinking caramel apple and cinnamon. I'm getting some cinnamon here. And rye, the rye pepper, definitely.
It's in the area of Leon.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna something.
With an M.
The hotel? I don't think so.
It was up a side street to the
Yeah, it
north
was
of the
lovely.
road. And it's a stop on the Camino.
Yes.
Everywhere you go, you can get a stamp in your little passport for the.
If you're a pilgrim.
If you're a pilgrim,
Casa Pepe.
that's it. See, no M.
Wow. Oh. I'm glad you
This is
corrected me.
this is a really, really nice nose.
Okay. What do you get from the nose? I'll tell you what you're supposed to get.
Well, I got rye pepper. I got apple cinnamon. Almost like an apple, caramel apple at a fair. That kind of nose.
Well, the whiskey wash says the top notes of honeysuckle and clover honey, rounded out with char, vanilla oak, and an herby brightness.
No, I don't get any of that.
Spice rumbles beneath the surface. Well, of course it does. It's 100 proof.
And rye, if it's a high rye, too.
Nose here, rye, spice. Did
Yeah.
you say that?
Yeah.
Vanilla and caramel are most prominent. This is what Breaking Bourbon says. With a trace of oak underneath. The scents are oddly a bit light, lacking the anticipated dose of ethanol I would expect for 100 proof.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Okay? You don't have to.
I don't have to. You don't think about whiskey. You don't have to.
At more than double the price of very old Barton bottled in bond, and a 45% premium over 1792 small batch, you could easily argue that 1792 bottled in bond is a terrible value.
There may be something to that. I don't recall what I paid for this, but their mention of very old Barton is
Is that the same thing?
No.
Same distillery?
same distillery.
Okay.
Very old Barton is actually a very good and very affordable bourbon whiskey. You can get a pretty large container of it for a fraction of the cost of these
So
other
this
things.
dude on Breaking Bourbon says, while 1792 bottled in bond is a very similar product, what it does offer is something just unique enough to capture my interest.
Okay.
They're apparently going to release it once a year in the fall, so it's got a little bit of exclusivity to it, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. So you diving in?
I'm going in for a taste. I love the color too, by the way. I don't know about this
It's
honey.
nice wildflower honey.
Wildflower honey.
Oscar, the beekeeper, who was tremendously informative and entertaining and charming. His honey looked that color.
Oh, was it? Okay. First taste.
Wish I brought some back.
First taste. A anesthetic almost of tingle, but not a burn, not a not putting anything to sleep for surgery in my mouth. Nice linger, but nothing potent on the first taste. Let's go for a second taste and see what happens. Yeah, it's high rye. It's not terribly sweet to me. You might think it's sweet as hell, but to me it's not very sweet at all.
Well, I won't ever know.
Nice warmth in the back of the throat. A little bit of tingle on the lips from the alcohol, I imagine. Again, I picked it up simply because it was a single barrel select by the good folks out there in Oak Ridge. I would probably put the 1792 bottle and bond of any nature in a bar category, because if it is a higher price point than some of the other comparable whiskeys that are available from Barton, you may find.
Well, in 2018 it was $36, so that's not.
For this one?
That's the straight bourbon. Yes, according to Breaking Bourbon. 2018, so 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's
well before the Rona jacked the prices up
of
because
everything.
People like you were bored and collected things.
It's better than collecting kittens.
True, I don't sneeze at bourbon, although if it gets too close to me, I do.
Yeah, this is a good whiskey. I wish I could recall what I paid for it. But considering what those reviews pointed out about value versus quality and so on, and other options that are available from the same distiller, I'm going to qualify it and say, yeah, this would be a bar recommendation, meaning if you're interested in it and you see it in a bar, and I would actually probably say bottled and bond and the full strength, the full proof. Ask for a 2-ounce pour, see if you like it, see where it goes from there. Otherwise, I do know Very Old Barton is a good whiskey at a great value, much like Evan Williams White Label Bottle and Bond.
Well, you also didn't buy it at an ABC store.
True.
So they weren't sticking to MSRP. They were getting what they could for it.
Well, the two chuckleheads that own the place, they're the ones who went and picked it out. So all the bottles came from a single barrel, and they're the only ones selling that particular one. And Virginia ABC does it a few times. Mm-hmm. No, it's a good whiskey. I had no indication of what the prices might be, if there might be a big price premium on it, I'd make it a buy. But using caution and saying, hey, if they've run the prices up, or if you're in a state that doesn't have ABC controls and you're subject to the market, and if the market is asking a whole lot of money for this, and by a whole lot of money I would say more than $50, maybe even more than $40, make it a bar, find it in the bar, try it.
So bourbon by proxy, I've never seen it before, and this was in 2022, says bottled and bond single barrel was $40.
And what year was that, you said?
2022.
Okay. I think it's a fair price. I would say buy it at that price. I do think this was a little bit more, simply because of uniqueness.
Because it was not an ABC store, too.
Yeah, and again, it was a single barrel select by a particular store.
Yep.
So anyway, our trip was amazing. We had some interesting experiences. We had a kind of a different mix, because this was one that we did where we went on the pre-tour extension that got us from Carcassonne to Bayonne to Bilbao, and with all the little ad hoc excursion up to Toulouse, and stopped at Biarritz on the way.
And we went to the church where Louis XIV was married in Saint-Jean-de-Luz, and it just happened to be the day that the Pope, the former late Pope, was being lying in state, or was it his funeral day?
His funeral, and we got to see it on big screen
in the church where Louis XIV was married. That was kind of chicken skinish.
Yeah.
And Saint-Jean-de-Luz is a town on the coast in Basque Country, France.
Then we went on the main tour, which included started in Bilbao. We went to Pamplona via San Sebastian.
That was lovely. I could spend time in San Sebastian.
Yeah. We went to Lamego in Portugal.
Oh, you skipped.
What did I skip?
The rest of
Pamplona.
Spain. You said Pamplona. We went to Leon.
Yeah.
We went Bilbao, Leon, Pamplona.
Yeah.
Santiago, de Compostela.
Well, that was right before Porto. We went from Santiago de Compostela to Porto.
To Lamego. To Porto.
Oh, yeah. Hell, I got the batting order.
Yes, you do.
Anyway, we went to a lot of cool places. We ended up back in Lisbon in a hotel that could not have been in a better location.
Super location.
We were 2 blocks and 1 block off from the Plaza de Comercio.
Yeah.
We got to do a riverboat cruise in the Douro Valley on a boat that was adapted from the original boats used to take the wine barrels from the valley down to Porto for shipment overseas. We did a boat tour, riverboat tour, 90-minute thing
on the Tagus River.
On the Tagus River, where we went from basically right downtown Lisbon out to Belém, to the Belém Tower and the monument to the discoveries, over by Cristo Rey, and then back. Had some great food. Got to go to the Tile Museum. Got to go to the Castle de Saint George, which was really pretty cool. But
went to Belém, had pastéis.
Still haven't fully explored what Lisbon has to offer.
No, and somebody said, we've been here for 4 days. That's all we need. I'm going,
are you not paying attention?
Daft?
So anyway, we're going to shut her down now. Thanks for tuning in. Again, no merch, no nothing. We have another adventure coming up in the several somethings or other in the future, but I'm going to do a few more of these, and hopefully we'll...
I hope we're home long enough to at least clear through the stuff we've taped.
I know, the TiVo the TiVo clear Jeopardy challenge. Anyway, thanks. Aloha. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.